Welcome to Rugby Uncovered. I'm Tom Nash, and with Paul Rodriguez, we are approaching the Alliance Premier 15 semi-finals, and today we're talking to Loughborough Lightning's Canadian international, Daleaka Menin. Daleaka, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You have played international rugby for Canada at all sorts of levels, beginning at under 20 through to full international level. I'm telling you things you know already. You joined Loughborough in 2018, along with Emily Tutosi, who she's now at Exeter, and Rona Lloyd in 2018. Why Loughborough? Was it connected with your studies, or?
It sort of just fell into my lap. I graduated from university back home in 2018, and Emily Tutosi, who I came over with, we played uni rugby together for the past 5 years. And our coach at the time, Simon Chi, he knew Reese Edwards, and he just was like, do you guys want to continue to play rugby for a few more years, a little bit more seriously? And we both thought about it, and we just ended up meeting Reese, and we did our Dinos. I played for a team called the Dinos back home, and we came over here and toured, and we met Reese, and we met the team and stuff, and it sort of just seemed like a good fit and something to sort of put off pursuing a real, like, outside of athletics career. And so no, we ended up over here, and 3 years later I'm still here.
No, brilliant. Well, it's definitely to Loughborough's benefit. We have spoken with top-level rugby players from countries like Germany and the Netherlands and the Czech Republic. They've all said similar things about not specialising in the way that this country tends to in a sport until they get to 15, 16, even later. Was that your experience in Canada, that you were still playing softball and those kinds of sports as well as rugby?
In a way, so rugby in Canada is still developing quite a bit. So the sports that you'd see, like hockey, for example, is a sport that, ice hockey, that you'd see really young kids starting, and then from there they build up. But for rugby, yeah, most girls don't start until at least they're 14-ish. Like, it's not even, I was really lucky. My school started rugby when I was 12, and I did contact rugby from then, but most schools don't offer that. You have to be a little bit older. Even just from a popularity point of view, rugby's not, it's building, but it hasn't really got to that point where people even consider it a super professional option. And back home right now, it's not actually a professional option outside of for the sevens and for the men's side. The 15s women's aren't professional. So it is like the girls that do it, just you sort of pick, whenever you pick it up, you then pursue to take it seriously. There's no big development sector for it outside of playing high school or playing in university, or then you sort of, once you have the opportunity to go to ID camps and such, then you personally choose to pursue it at a higher level, unless you get picked up by the seven side, which is obviously fully professional. Yes,
and at 12, were you made to play it, or was it you were just encouraged to?
No, my grade 6 teacher at the time, so the year before, he coached the team. I'm from a very small town that had rugby only because we couldn't afford an American football team. So it's like, if you can't afford football, they'll put rugby in. So he just suggested it to me. He was like, I think you'd be good at it. I was pretty athletic when I was younger, and no, I joined, and at the same time, my older sister joined, and then my younger sister joined, and my parents didn't even know what it was before I started playing it. And they just supported me, and I just got really, I was given the great opportunity to try out for some of the age level stuff that they have, and sort of moved and was able to get the opportunity to go for U20 Canada and up to the senior level. So no, it sort of fell into my lap, but it obviously fit with me, and I've loved it ever since.
Are girls in Canada put off potentially by the physical side of rugby, do you think?
It's actually one of the fastest growing sports for girls. It's really popular in Canada for high school or teenage level girls. I think, if anything, most girls who play, well, when I think about it, hockey, which is the predominant sport in Canada, is actually quite physical. On the women's side, it's non-contact, but I've spoken to a lot of girls that would like the women's side to have a bit more contact in it. So I don't know, maybe it's just that some people just say how the Canadians are bred, but it's definitely a very popular sport. And it's still, I think, I'm not going to say, I think girls still struggle in general, sometimes with more physical sports, just from like more of a social norm point of view, but it's definitely up and rising in Canada. And even my hometown, rugby is definitely one of the popular sports there. And within I'm from Alberta, and southern Alberta, which is mostly made up of rural communities, it's a very popular sport.
Oh, that's brilliant. We've seen that kind of growth in this country over 3 years at the elite level, never mind going down to grassroots. So to bring this conversation to the present, this weekend, you've got Saracens in the second of the two Alliance Premier 15 semi-finals. I'm going to put you on the spot. What have you got to do to beat them?
Well, hopefully, I think what's great about Lightning, I think, is that when we can hit our peak performance, I really don't think there's much that anyone can do to stop us. It's just a matter of us doing that, if it makes sense. Like throughout this season, we've had some really amazing moments on attack. When we get the ball out wide or just like slicing through the middle, we have quite a bit of speed and some powerful forwards to help out with that. And when we have the ball in hand and we're moving it well, I really don't think there's a team out there that can stop us. It's just a matter of us getting in our own way. So, no, I think us coming in with working that width and working the width of the field in attack and then punching it up when needed, but sort of trying to stay away from the series big forwards is really, I think, the goal, because that's where they thrive. So, no, I think these last few weeks have gone really well for training, and if we can bring it all together on Saturday, I think we have it in the bag.
Given what you've just said, and given that, for example, Exeter Chiefs beat them, which surprised a few people, but they gave them a really good game at the end of last year. Mm-hmm. Do you go through tapes of that kind of match to see where Saracens' weak points may be, or how you might be able to exploit certain aspects? Or
yeah, both the coaches and the girls, I think we all take it so seriously that we definitely, it's nice to just watch the other premier teams play, but it is good to just watch and prep for playing against anyone, but especially in a big game, you take the time to watch and see where their weaknesses lie, and also where other teams could have like maybe missed an opportunity, and that maybe you can learn from and use that in your game against them. So yeah, we spend quite a bit of time doing review, and we've definitely been focusing on it in the last 2 weeks.
Daleka, I just wanted to ask a couple of quick questions. First of all, Loughborough Lightning are an extremely exciting team to watch, and the fitness of the team seemed to go up so much this year. The speed, you obviously went for speed. Have you been training in a different way?
I don't know if we've been training in a different way. I'll give it credit to, we got a new S&C this year, who has been really pushing us from a heavy weights point of view, which in turn is going to just add to that speed aspect, I think, for everyone's game. And all credit to the girls who have really put in the extra effort, especially when you have Six Nations sort of taking part of your squad away. It's good to see, like, I would say none of the girls slowed down during our sort of break away from games. Girls were in the gym putting in the extra effort. So I would definitely put credit to that.
because there was a couple of games where I think if you had a bit more time, you would have won it, because you seem to be coming into your own near the end. Are you hoping that the time factor will go back to what it was before, pre-COVID?
Yeah, I never really thought I'd imagine my saying I'd like the game to be longer, but no, I think it would be nice to go back to 80. Obviously, also scrums do change the game quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just from like where you can attack. When you're always attacking from lineouts, which is what sort of the game's turned into, you have a few scrums, but not that many. You have the full width of the field, but you don't have the opportunity to do as much I don't know, just like evasion or like general, like how you set up affects how the defense sets up and stuff off of a scrum. So we don't have as much of that. So no, I'd love the game to be a bit longer, and I would love scrums to come back in, because I do think they add a different element to the game. And I mean, when you have the free kick, and sometimes if you're the one who has to run that 10-meter channel and they're just sitting there, it's just not something I'm always up for.
No, sure.
Brilliant. That's very honest. So, Daleka, if people want to find you, how do they do that on social media?
I have both Instagram and Twitter. My Instagram's at Daleaka, Daleaka, and my Twitter's just at Daleaka Menin. As well. Luckily, when you have such a unique name, nobody else owns that domain. So.
Superb. That's absolutely excellent. Best of luck on Saturday, and it's been a real pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on, and we hope to have you back again if you would like to do that.
Always.
Fantastic. All the very best.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next time.